We are very happy to be here, and we want to present one of our most recent projects we have developed in Barcelona in the recent times. But briefly, I will explain you who we are and what are our main challenges today. We work in the Municipal Data Office, which is a new office created in February 2018, but it comes from the fusion of three departments, former departments, which are analytics department, survey opinion department, and also statistics department. This Municipal Data Office, it airs the 120 years of knowledge that comes from the beginning of the statistics department. This department has the goal to manage all the city data and manage that and all the data of the institution, and also to analyze that and to disseminate or publishing it. We are going to, we have the mission of deploy the corporate data governance. We are going now to shift data technology. We are operating with a new platform which is called CTOS. We are also implementing data science with data-driven policy, for instance, with sensors or this kind of elements for monitoring the traffic or the energy supply. And we believe in data sovereignty, that data as an infrastructure of interest for the public is something like Eva said before, that data comes from citizens and has to go after that also to citizens, maybe in different forms, like an instrument, but in our case, as is possible as good policies. And one of our main axes is innovation. We try to go to extreme data ingestion, near real-time data, for instance, also sensors, energy, water supply, these kind of elements that are all the days in the city. We try to work with very high update frequency. We are developing machine learning models and forecasting. For instance, we are now developing one model of consumption, private consumption. One of our ideas is to work with wide, flexible, and available data lake. The idea is to give very fast response to new needs. We are also developing experimental statistics, for instance, in terms of population or consumption, or made with mobile telephones. And also, we are not working alone. We are trying to work with private sector and also academic sector, the academia. For instance, one of our more reliable partners is the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, which is an institution with very recognized in Europe in this kind of knowledge. And okay, we are now working with new sources of data. As you know, maybe just 10 or 15 years ago, not very long ago, we worked with official statistics. Now they are still official statistics, but there are a lot of data from private sector or just from institutions that work ordinarily with a lot of data. For instance, I don't know, platforms like booking.com or this kind of platforms. And you can get a lot of information from there, working with them or maybe paying, because there are different models that we are going to see now how we work with them. I want to show you one of our most recent projects, which is the COVID Challenge. As we develop a website to tracking the evolution of the COVID in Barcelona. It was conceived like an analytical instrument to get a global vision of the city from very different areas. Of course, health is one of the most important, but we have worked also with population, economy, mobility, air quality, etc. It was developed since 13 March in 2020 till April 2020. So it was developed, created and developed in the Municipal Data Office just in 1 month in a very adverse condition framework, as maybe I think pass everywhere. And the idea was to make accessible to citizens, institutions, politicians, etc., a wide large of indicators with a very high update frequency. This adverse condition was under the idea that unexpected situation needs very, very quickly response. For instance, we are seeing that also now in, I don't know, maybe in La Palma volcano. Have you heard about that? There are very new situations, and scientists have to give very, very quickly response to say what have to be done to the people who live there. But however, COVID is a dramatic historical accident because it has a huge cost in human lives. However, it has also been an opportunity to advance. We have seen that in science, for instance. We have seen the vaccine, how did it work. And also in data, we have seen how a new forms of cooperation that we haven't seen before. A lot of private institutions wanted to collaborate to give some data to make a better system to track all the pandemic. This is the frame of when we start to create and develop the website. All the small pieces that reality is not a compact thing. You have to, it's made of small pieces of reality. For instance, if you want to know how traffic works, you have to know how is the car registration system, how many new cars are going to the private sector, to the rental sector. You want to know how is traffic, what are the sensors. Then you have to structure it because you need a narrative to understand how these pieces make something understandable together. And this is the sources which we have collaborated, of course, official statistics, experimental statistics, administration data, the normal data of the institution, survey data, big data, and private market. For instance, if you wanted to know how many people live in Barcelona, you go to official statistics. Okay, but now if you want to know how many people is in Barcelona, maybe you, with the telephone, mobile telephone, this is smart data and experimental statistics. We know that we are registered 1.6 million people living in Barcelona, but in a normal work day, we are 3 million people in Barcelona. And we know that because it's big data and experimental statistics. Something like that is also, for instance, in tourism. You have to wait to a statistical national institution who says there is 3 million people of overstaying nights in the city, but now, scrapping the websites of hotels, we know how many people is going to come next week to be in a hotel in Barcelona. This kind of system, you have to know all the sources, where they come, and how can you recover all the data. This website is updated daily, and we have indicators that are updated every hour. And this is one of the possible visualizations, and of course you can download all the data, graphic to plot, and also in one single data set we have all the information in OMD Data. But I want to point out, to highlight something about methodology, because we come from a scarce data world, and we are now in a data-rich world. We have a lot of data, but maybe not all the data have the same value. I think that methodology is a very, very important point in all this process to get the data and visualize or download the data, because methodology matters. You have to say how do you make the hypothesis to get these variables or this process or not the other. When you choose the algorithm or you define the algorithm that it will at the end be a magnificent and very, very nice visualization, you have to say that this algorithm is very solid, is scientist replicable, and is very, very transparent. It's one point that I think in modern times is not so important, but for me it's important. I was here, download the data, and now we are going to the users. And with users, we have here the idea that, as Eva said before, users, we have a lot of users. We have from a very, very single one to a very high-level users, and just put the data and in a model and it works alone. We have to understand that data has to go to the people again, and they have to understand how it works. And the first, it was just the first step, this model of what do you need the data, you have to be able to answer the good questions. What do you need the data? You need to description, maybe you need to comparing with other cities, between neighborhoods, maybe you want, after that, you want to analyze, of course, because without that, data doesn't, for me, doesn't have any sense. Maybe you want to analyze the reality, but in our case, we belong to a public institution. We want to know if that politics we are leading, they are making good results or not. After that, we are, well, all of that is working together. Modeling, to have machine learning systems, which we are now developing, and with business intelligence, big data, etc. For modeling, you have to know which variables do you want, because maybe you have not 100, 1,000 of variables now, because as I said before, now we are in a very rich data world. But you have to have the clever, the smart people making the good questions, so you will have the good answers to solve the citizens' problems. And of course, you can make prediction. We are now making prediction about mobility with, for instance, gentrification, which means that we have to put information about real market, people, income, etc. And this is some of the webs that we have now in the Municipal Data Office. These are statistics, OMD Data, of course, economics, and that it's following up to date the economics in the city. Well, there are other webs, and all these things. I want to show you this one, which is called the City Up to Date. Well, we have some other things. If you want to go there, you have the website. And this one, this is the structure. As I mean before, we have reality is a very, very small pieces, but we have to structure it. And the color, the green, lilac, yellow, it's the way this data come here from. They are private statistics, they are official statistics, they are experimental statistics. So you have here the first part of the structure. You can see that they are structured in several items. And this is the second part. This is now we are improving this website at the beginning. We are in the 5th version, and we are improving with expanding contents and also functionalities. This one is going to be next week, is going to work next week. And then, okay, so, okay. Excuse me? I have to, I don't know if it works. Yes. This is the website. This is the website, which is the structure that I showed you before. You can see here, for instance, we have, this is the PCR detected cases. We are now in the 5th wave of COVID in Barcelona, in Spain. This is Barcelona, this is Catalonia, and this is Spain. We have a lot of indicators. I just show you some of them. For instance, this one, you understand the narrative of all the website. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not working fast. Well, this is students that were sent home because some people near them in the class have COVID. So this is the students, the lockdown of the, I don't know what happened here, but in Spain, one Friday, in 13 March, we were told, go home, just 2 weeks. Of course, it was in real. We were 3 months at home, and the students were all them sent home. But after that, you can see how it has been declining. And I want to show you also the dramatic part of the situation. This is people how they die. When I say that data come from different places, we have data of census, but also the information of mortuary and also in cemeteries. As you can see, this is March and April 2020. We have over mortality about 4,300 people in the city. And as I can show you all the website, just I want to show you some of the experimental indicators. I'm sorry. Well, this is pollution and noise, and this is experimental statistics, which is population. This indicator comes from mobile phones. I'm not so tall, but at that, it's March 2020. It was 3 million people a normal day working and studying in the city. When the lockdown was decreed and the alarm state, it was 13 March, we were only 1.6 million people, who is the people that are registered in the census. We have here well, it's not, you can see it, but it's by time. So we can see this is in work time, and this is at the night. We have that information every day. And we have here by origin, is if you are from the city of Barcelona or you come from other places and you are of the metropolitan area. And for instance, I can show you things about prices and supplies. I'm sorry, it's too late. Well, I think I'm coming back to the presentation. We have, okay. Well, it is in the reservations. This is also experimental statistics, how tourism just disappeared in the city. I don't know what happened here. I imagine more or less was the same. And also we made a survey about what people think about the isolation or situation with the COVID situation in the lockdown. And at the end, I just want to show you this. Of course, you can browse and you can ask everything you want. Maybe you here can see anything, but here there is the narrative of all the COVID situation. Here we have all the global and local news about the COVID. And you have here at the beginning, the first case in China. It's related. After that, what happened in Italy, I think was the first case in Europe. After that, you can browse here and enlarge and go up and down. You have all the measures in Spain, in the parliament, do say, now we have a lockdown. And in Barcelona, what happened, for instance, in the schools or with the restoration, the bars and restaurants, as you know, they have been opening and closing, etc. Here you have all the narrative, local and global, of the COVID situation. And I think that will be okay if because it's quite late, so I think it's okay. Thank you.